try that again. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if the speakers are up high enough in this place. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Oh, thank you. All right, there it is. We're on page 36 at the back of your Siddur. Page 36. 36. Hi, li, li,
Shalom, everyone.
Shabbos.
I'm taller than that. Hold on. Okay. That's okay. We'll just kind of hunch.
That also. I'm having a moment over
Yeah, no, we're having a little moment. It's okay. We're pivoting. We're pivoting. We're pivoting. We're here. Yeah. We are here. We are here. And it's so nice to be here with all of you. Is anybody here for the very first time? Anyone? Welcome. Welcome. Hello. 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 We might ask you to introduce yourselves later. Just a heads up. But you already raised your hand, so we know who you are. So you cannot hide. So I recognize that walking into this space, which I know is an unexpected space today, the weather has not been agreeable to being outdoors. But thank you all for.
Only on the Fridays that we want to have services.
I know the weather was so good. All week. It really, truly, it's a Chicago phenomena that you'll have beautiful weather Tuesday through Thursday, and then as soon as the weekend rolls in, it's like, psych. You wanted summer. Just kidding. But we'll have good weather soon enough, and it's still a blessing to be in this space with all of you. But I just recognize that even among the frenzy of changing plans, of changing directions, of maybe just walking those few extra blocks from North Center Town Square to here, that so many of us are coming into this space with a bit of anxiety, a bit of being on edge about the state of the world, what's happening overseas, what's happening in our own backyard. We were sharing among the davening team, which are these wonderful people here who help create this space together with us, what's the energy you're bringing in. And so many of us were like, God, I feel a little ungrounded. I feel a little unmoored. There is so much happening outside of these walls that is not how I would want it to be. And I know that I spent most of my day glued to my phone. The New York Times, for better or for worse, provides live updates about breaking news. And I was doing the little refresh, you pull it down, refresh, pull it down, refresh, pull it down. Yeah, okay, I got some nods around the room. So you too also engage in this activity, but looking at all of the painful points, the painful places around the world. But I know for many of us in particular, the state of Israel in this moment, a place that so many of us are tied to by friends and family. I know there's people in this room right now who are thinking about loved ones in those places, praying for their safety, praying for peace, and not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring. Not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. And I recognize that we've already been living with so much uncertainty for months and months and months, and this is just another moment where that feels more acute and more close to home, and perhaps a little bit more painful. And so then Shabbat comes in. Shabbat comes in and it says, put your phone down. Yes. Like put your phone down. Like take a moment and if you're one of those people, and God bless you if you are, who gets live alerts like buzzing in your pocket, maybe put your phone on silent too. Maybe actually give yourself putting the phone on silent and just taking a moment away from the doom scrolling and the constant checking. And I assure you that whatever is happening outside of these walls will still be happening once we leave this space. But Shabbat invites us to just give ourselves a moment, right, to turn off that flow of information and just to be, to sit a little straighter in your chair, to relax those shoulders, to take a deep breath, maybe the first deep breath you've taken all day, maybe all week. And just to be. When I was going through a particularly anxious period of my life, my therapist gave me a tool to use, which was when I felt that spiral of anxiety about the future, about the unknown, about what I couldn't control, pull me down and pull me away from wherever I was to practice presence, to actually ground myself in whatever was good or true or real in the space that I was in at that moment. The space that I was in at that very moment. And so Shabbat, this ancient spiritual technology, maybe anticipated what my therapist was going to say, because it is a practice of grounding ourselves in what is good and real and true in this very moment, right here, right now, whether it's the seat underneath you, the ground under your feet, the siddur in your hands, the air you're breathing, the sound of the music, your ability to sing or to be present in this space, whatever it is, just holding on to something or some things around you that you notice, that you can say, yes, this right now is real, and this right now is true, and this right now is good. Shabbat is not a practice of willful ignorance or naivete. It's a practice of creating space alongside everything that is outside, which is still also real and still also there. It's a practice of creating space alongside that for something to ground ourselves in, so we feel just a little more firmly planted. We feel a little more capable of facing whatever challenges are going to come our way. And so I want to ask you, what feels real and true and good in this space, in this moment? That's not a rhetorical question. No, somebody tell me. 4 of our KBM kids went to the mikveh today. 4.
Completing their KBM education and year. Amazing. How was it? School's out.
Interesting. Oh yeah. No, I asked so our KBM is our B mitzvah students, and I asked them earlier how was the mikveh, and I got interesting, warm, cool, and 5 out of 5 stars would do it again. So yeah. I heard school is out. School's out. Okay, so we have a little bit of freedom in this space felt by some of our students. What else? What else is good and true and real in this room right now? What was that? Community. It's a nice rug. Yeah. No, that's real though. Like I sometimes when I was having my anxiety spirals, I literally had to be like, this wall is solid, right? Like, so that's real. Yeah. This rug, it's a nice rug. I like this rug. That water bottle, it's real. It's there. It's carrying water. The Old Town Art Fair is this weekend. Oh my God! And Midsummer Fest also.
Yes.
I have ice cream in my
David. Oh, you're still holding the joy of the Shabbat service from 2 weeks ago. You're still riding that.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, Heather. What? Yeah, it is. It's actually challenging. That's why I'm here. You're there. Your butt's in the chair. There's a lot of great butts and chairs here. I'm so happy you're all here. You right now are all very Eitan. Your family is safe in Israel, which helps you be grounded here. Thank God for that. Whatever it might be in this moment, hold on to it. Maybe even turn to a neighbor and share what it is and just help create this space, because this space is real. This space is real. Alongside all of our concerns, all of our worries, all of our anxieties about the future, this right now is also real and can be our grounding for moving into whatever lies around the corner, and we get to do this together. So thank you all for being here, for helping create this space. Let's sing a little bit. That's also real.
Yeah, it is. We're on page 2 of that Siddur. The you can try that. Just join me on the If that's all you want to sing, you can do that just all night. Finding a melody or a harmony on that. If you want to join me on the words, you can too, like this.
Hashem mishpatzi ve'api
Im yavon el menuchati.
Share
Elohim Adonai, Ve'hodu lezecher kodsho. Mizmor shu l'Adonai shir chadash, ki niflot asau shir Elohim knows roa kodsho. Yeshua toli, koyim kilat tzidkato. The top of 6. Lifnei Adonai kiva, lishvot haaretz, lishvot teva v'tzadek, ve'amim v'meisharim. Adonai malachi v'zuamim yeshlu kerubim tanit haaretz, tzibun gadol v'ramhu al kol ha'amim. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishachavu lehakodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Run 7. Mizmor leDavid, we stand. Havu Adonai b'nei Elim, havu Adonai kavod va'oz, havu Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod niri, Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai behadar, kol Adonai shomer ha'razim, vayishaber Adonai atar ze'havanon, hayan kideh kemo egel Lebanon, ze'sirion kemo be'revim, kol Adonai potzeh ha'kodesh, kol Adonai yafil me'od, yafil Adonai mi'hakadesh, kol Adonai kolel hayalot, vayefesom ye'aron, u'vekalo kulomer kavod, Adonai lemavu yashav, v'yeshev Adonai melech le'olam, Adonai oz le'almo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. You can take a seat at the bottom of 7. There's this Kabbalistic poem, Ana Bekoach, answer or please with strength, with the strength of your right hand, which really just means with your great power. Tatir Tzarura, release those who are bound, those who are captive. This is a piece that was written against the backdrop, I'm guessing, of great suffering and constriction, as much Jewish creativity was. And as we have been davening against the backdrop of war these past many months, every time I look at these words and every time we pray these words, I think of those who are captive and constricted and who do not have control over their environment and who are scared. And we pray for them every single week in this place. And so we continue to do that tonight with even greater fervency. Turn to 8. Echadodi vikrakala ene Shabbat nekabela. Echadodi vikrakala ene Shabbat nekabela. Shalom. The Face the door we walked in and reconnect with some of that presence that Rabbi Stephen invited us into earlier. What's true and real in this moment? And what do we want to invite in to help us access Shabbat, the Shabbat bride, the vision of the queen, the bride, the purity, the innocence, the openness, the relaxation, the gentleness, whatever it is that we need to invite into this room and into ourselves to try to help us access Shabbat a little more. Take a moment to think about a word. We invite it in. B'shalom. Sending love out this night to Sandy Sufian, a member of our community who just lost her father this past week. And we say these words at the bottom of page 9. I wonder if there's anybody else in this room who has had a very recent loss, that we can offer these words to you as well. Is there anybody who's lost somebody in this past week? Yeah. So to you, Judy, and to Sandy, and to everybody else who's mourning a fresh loss, we say, Hamakom yinachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One send you comfort among all of our people who have had a recent loss, and all people everywhere mourning. And we turn the page and welcome you into Shabbat. And you can take a seat. We turn to page 11.
עדותיך נמנו מאוד לבאתך נאווה קודש אדוני לאורך ימים. Shabbos, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's always nice to be outside, but it's also always nice to be inside. So, it's very wonderful to see everybody packed in here. And so I wanted to, first of all, say welcome to folks who are here for the first time. We welcomed a few of you earlier, kind of anonymously, but I wonder if now we might actually invite you to stand and introduce yourselves. Folks who are here for the first time, go ahead and stand up. We want to welcome you. Yes.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbos.
Palmer, I'm from Salt Lake City, and I'm Michael Palmer's mother.
Woo! All right. Michael Palmer, who I hope that everybody has met, but he is one of the newer members on our staff and runs all our small groups. And tonight ran a 20s, 30s happy hour at Beguile. And thank you, everybody who was there and made it here. I talked to a few people. They were like, oh, I'm just here for the drinks. I'm not coming to services. So for all of you, you're very hardcore. And thank you, Michael, and welcome to you.
Hi, I'm Liz Rosenbaum. I'm Karen Rosenbaum Cook's mother.
Yay!
Here from Zifron Yaakov, Israel.
Nice.
Woo!
Welcome. Welcome.
Wow.
And I hope you make it back there safely. Where in Chicago? Gold Coast, sorry.
And I'm here with my wonderful fiance, Rebecca.
All right.
I'm here for High Holidays the last few years, and she brought me along with her.
All right. Oh, great.
Robbie.
Welcome, Robbie. Sweet.
Hi, my name is Gracie, and I'm here with my beautiful mother, Allison.
Yay.
And I'm visiting from New York.
All right. Lovely, lovely.
Hi, my name is Clayton. I'm here with my friend Kira. I'm from originally Michigan, but I'm living in Hermosa right now.
All right. Lovely, lovely. Bob, were you on your beat? Send it back to Bob and then over.
Hovering. I'm Bob Lurie from Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm here with my son, Ben Lurie.
Okay. Hi, my name's Sarah. I've been to some different events, but this is my first time at services. Yeah, I live in Wicker Park. I'm from Chicago. So.
Great. Love, love, love.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mayan. I just moved to Chicago from Milwaukee last week, and so Mishkan was recommended. Excited to be here, and hope to meet as many of you as I can.
Amazing. Yes, yes, yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Itai. I'm from Massachusetts originally, but I'm here from Chicago, and I'm here with Ben and Izzy, and thanks for having me.
Love it.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I'm originally from the East Coast, and I'm here because my wonderful friend Emma invited me. Thank you, Emma.
This Emma?
Yeah.
Did she tell you about the service when like 7 people, one after the next, said, I'm here because of Emma, I'm here because I'm a friend of Emma's, and then it kind of became a
She
running
didn't tell me,
joke,
but
so.
I'm not at all surprised.
Welcome.
My name is Matea. I'm also here because of Emma. And I live in Chicago.
Love, 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 love. Great. Wonderful. Oh. We can just turn it off and pass it up, unless there's anybody we missed. Well, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad all of you are.
Sorry.
Oh,
One more.
One
I wasn't going to say anything, but literally because the microphone landed in my hand, I will. I was at Shabbos a long time ago, but yeah, Moshe, it's my first time at Kabbalat Shabbat. Happy to be here. Good to meet everybody.
Happy you are here too. Yes. All right. This is so nice. After services tonight, we're gonna have kind of impromptu drinks and Trader Joe's snacks in the other room.
Yes.
During the winter, when we actually plan to be indoors, we like plan a whole sort of. It's not quite dinner, but it's kilu. It's like dinner. It's enough calories to be dinner.
And we didn't have enough time once we realized it was going to rain, so we just raided the aisles at Trader Joe's, and we will be happy to keep talking and hanging out after the service is over tonight here. Our next service is Shabbat morning. Our next and last service for a month is next Shabbat morning, where is Ron Averbuck? Is he here? That kid right there becomes bar mitzvah, our last one of this season. We got one more in the fall, and so we're very excited about that. I'm also so into all of the positive energy tonight for everybody's stuff. It's great. We need more things to celebrate. Rabbi Stephen leads a Mishnah class at 8:45 in the morning. And so for those of you who have not checked it out, next time is your last opportunity before the fall.
Exactly.
Although the truth is, Rabbi Stephen will be leading Learning in the Park, which has been our July thing for the past couple of years. Much of our staff in July does other creative projects because, as it turns out, they're filmmakers and theater makers, and July is the month when it's a little quieter in Chicago, and so we take it down a notch. We will not be doing Friday night and Shabbat morning services like this. We will be having Shabbat morning Learning in the Park on Saturday mornings. And Rabbi Stephen will be leading those. You can find all this stuff on our calendar. But just to say, next Saturday evening, Rabbi Stephen and I are going to be doing a ritual and movie screening of Rabbi Amichai Lau-Levi's documentary called Sabbath Queen. And it features, it's sort of like following the rabbinic life of this particular guy named Rabbi Amichai Lau-Levi. Maybe you've heard of him, maybe you haven't. But it also kind of follows the emergence of the inclusion of and celebration of LGBTQ culture in American Jewish life, which was not always the case, and still in many places not the case, but certainly not the case in the Orthodox rabbinic dynasty into which he was born in Israel, and kind of had to leave in order to fully manifest as a rabbi here in America, but very soon may actually be going back to, because there may be an opportunity for him to bring the person who he has become here in America to Israel, to change the landscape there in the way that he has in many ways for American Judaism. And I'm lucky to call him a friend. And this documentary has been touring America for the past many months, and it's finally coming to Chicago. So you are invited. It's at the Gene Siskel Center on Saturday night. And then it's kind of a part of a whole Pride month. And then finally, the last Shabbat of June, fingers crossed, or in a little Star of David or whatever it is, that the weather will be good out there and we'll be able to do our Pride Shabbat, which is always so delightful and fun. There's a family parade, Pride parade thing, viewing that people can jump onto.
You can still march with us. We have spots. If you want to march with us in the parade on Sunday.
What does it take to march?
You sign up and you walk for about 5 miles in the sun. But you get to do it with me. And other cool Mishkanites.
Do you get to make fun signs?
You can make fun signs if you want to.
Do you get to wear colorful clothes?
You should absolutely wear colorful clothes.
Is there anything else we should know?
Are there? There will be. Yeah, there are. Yes. It's the Jewish group marching. Yes. There are snacks.
Amazing.
And a lot of SPF 50 sunscreen and water.
You know what, Rabbi, the last thing I have on here is your Everybody Wants This. Do you want to just say something about that? Because...
Yeah, I can stand up.
Yeah.
So we are going to be launching a workshop for interfaith couples, particularly in their 20s and 30s, to talk about kind of how we are represented in the media, how we might actually become part of that conversation itself, and use media representation to have conversations within our own relationships with each other. So if that sounds like you or somebody you know, it's going to be really fun. We're going to be doing kind of different ways of engaging with these texts, so to speak, and we're going to end, I think, with a movie screening at some point. Like, we're going to have a really cool event at the end. So
awesome. Love it.
Also, we're protesting tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that too.
I figured I'd announce that at the very end. That's true. For anybody who wants to join us tomorrow, people may not be aware, or maybe you are aware, there's going to be a big presidential military parade in Washington, D.C., and in response to that, there are 100,000, actually like 1,400, 1,600, some very large number of protests all around America of people saying, maybe not that. And, as we were davening the very last psalm here,
So people know, I sent around like an invitation, like if you would like to do a Shabbat service with us at this protest, like sign up here. And I asked a question. Is there a particular song you might want to sing or prayer you might want to do? And most people were like, no and no. I'm just happy to be here. But a couple people wrote in, and one person in particular listed about 20 different prayers. And I'll just give you an example. And 20 different prayers, as interpreted through the lens of Jewish tradition doesn't believe in earthly kings. We only have one king, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God. That's how it is. And so as we were finishing this last psalm, I'm like looking at page 11 in our Siddur here. Adonai reigns supreme, robed in majesty, robed in power, robed in permanence. And I was thinking how uncomfortable these words generally make us, because we're like, oh God, I don't like the metaphor of king. But it's like, if you think of it as a countercultural, response to the dominance of earthly kings and tyrants, then it's like, oh, it's so countercultural, it's so badass, I love this tradition. So we will be drawing on Jewish tradition for a service in the morning, and you're invited to join us. We actually have some poster board in the other room if you want to make some fun signs. Protesting tyranny since Pharaoh, So before we dive into Mariv, I also just want to say, we have a board member here, Hannah Bloom Hirschberg, Bloom Hirschberg. Yeah. And thank you. It's like, love this so much. Hannah is completing 6 years of board service. I just wanted to say a public thank you. Hannah and her family, her growing family, have grown alongside this community since a year or two into your family and our shared family. We have done the baby namings of, I didn't do Ben, did I? I didn't do Ben, but I did do Henry, and we did do Mira. They have helped build and construct and envision the Mensch Academy and our family programs, and they have been on the ride with us as we have evolved and iterated. And from a place of love, they have offered tochacha, loving critique, which we thank you for. And the truth is, like, we are better because of you, and I just wanted to say thank you to you in a very public, very meaningful way. We will miss you on our board. I do not doubt we will continue to see you and hear from you, and we'll be excited to celebrate this kid's bar mitzvah in just a few months, within the year. Yes, exactly. Well, I think with that, we should stand and move ourselves into Mariv, into the evening service. We've got things to do. People to see, things to pray, Torah to study. We are on page 13. I'm just going to do it fast. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch le'olam va'ed. We can take a seat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'yado ro'ma v'varei b'chokhmah potech she'arim b'fnei Hashem v'chazmanim kochavim b'mishmeretem Ma'avir yom u'me'ivir laila u'mavdil ben yom u'ben laila Adonai tzeva'ot shemo el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai ha'mariv ha'ravim. We turn to 14. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim atanu limadta al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shokbeinu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu u'vehem negei omam v'layla ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. We're on 15. We cover our eyes and we take a full deep breath for each word of the Shema. Adonai ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Find ourselves at the bottom of page 17. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת כל זאת וקיים You Adonai Eloheinu ve'en zulato anachnu Yisrael Amo. We'll find ourselves at the bottom of 18. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lo tosefele. Malchutecha ra'u v'nacha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, ze Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
So if we open the Torah this week, we actually find one of the few pieces of liturgy that's in that scroll, which is Moses' prayer for Miriam, which is a prayer of healing. And the remarkable thing about this prayer is that it's offered by Moses, even though Miriam has just grievously insulted him, even though she spread rumors about his wife and has been maybe a little mean-spirited and perhaps a tiny bit racist as well. But when she falls ill, he prays for her anyway. Of course, the hurt is real, but so is her distress, and Moses is able to hold both. And I think a lot of us are holding both right now, and looking at the mess around us, there is plenty of blame to go around. Of course, justice is something we should and are commanded to pursue, but when we look around and we see so many people in pain, some who look like us and some who do not, and some we might call our friend, and some the world tells us are our enemies, we are told to see each and every one of them as a person in need of healing, just like Moses saw Miriam as a person in need of healing. So I want you to take a moment. I want you to call to mind all of those people and places in need of an extra prayer right now. Maybe it's somebody close to you, but maybe it's somebody you only know from a distance. Maybe it's somebody you would call a friend, or maybe it's somebody that the world has told you is not like you, is your enemy. Somebody you think of as your neighbor or a complete stranger. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're in need of an extra prayer tonight. And so we send blessings of healing to anyone struggling with illnesses of mind, of body, or of spirit. All those living in fear and hardship, everyone in Israel, those who are scared in Iran right now, Palestine, all of the places in the world torn by war, on the edge of war. Jews living around the world who feel just a little less safe right now because of everything that is happening. Migrants and the workers in our own backyard who are afraid of tomorrow, the people taking to the streets, may they also be safe. And all of us here, may we also know peace.
Amen. Middle of 19.
L'chaim u'l'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam.
Shmotzeteinu Boenu.
For life and for peace.
Shmotzeteinu Boenu. Shmotzeteinu Boenu. L'chaim u'l'shalom. Me'ata be'adonam. Ufros aleinu sukkah. Shalomecha. L'chaim u'l'shalom. Me'ata be'adonam. Ufros aleinu sukkah. Shalomecha.
We stand at 20. V'shameru
B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'dorotam berit olam V'shameru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'dorotam berit olam Beini uvein B'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Oti le'olam V'shameru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'dorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam berit olam u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'navash Shabbat v'navash Shabbat v'navash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'dorotam berit olam Last time V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'dorotam berit olam Yitgadal v'yitgadash merabah Ve'amad v'rachirutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chayachonu v'yamachonu chayetecho Beit Yisrael B'galam v'zman kariv v'imru Amen.
All together, yeah. Yishmer v'barach le'olam u'le'olam Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yiromam v'yiraseh v'yirhadar v'yiralev v'yirhalash v'yidkudsha Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata Tushbachata v'nechemata tamiran b'lama v'imru Amen. The Amidah, the standing, personal, private space, prayer space, begins on page 21. East is that away. The custom is to face east, to take 3 steps backwards and 3 steps forwards in your own space. You can use the words in the book or just take this time for your own personal prayer, yearning out loud to the address of the great beyond mystery. Come back in a few moments. We've had some time to pray. 30. You can take your time and sit down when you like. Oh, say shalom bimromah. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'emero amen. I think the hardest thing that I did in rabbinical school was memorize the 2 lines of text that they wanted us to say on the bima the day we got ordained as a unit. There were 13 of us that got ordained the same day, and we all had to say at the same time, the Ha'arev na Adonai Eloheinu b'finu u'b'fi kol Beit Yisrael or B'nai Yisrael, v'b'nai b'neinu v'b'nai Yisrael, that they should come to. Okay, the point is, it's in the Siddur. I did memorize it at the time, and I even read over it today, and I should have put it in the Hebrew in this thing, so I wouldn't have messed it up, and I could have convinced you that I effectively memorized it. But I did the thing that everybody does when pretending they know Hebrew. In services, which is I relied on the people next to me who knew it and just sort of mouthed the parts that I didn't know. Because I thought it was a stupid exercise, that after 5 years of school and studying, I mean, when I say it was the hardest thing, it wasn't really the hardest thing. Like the DAF test, the test where they tested us on 60 random pages of Talmud was actually the hardest thing. And this just felt like such a silly exercise to make a bunch of adults go through. Nonetheless, here's what it means, because it actually had an important meaning. May the words of Torah, Adonai our God, be sweet in our mouths. Sort of like ironic, because we all were stumbling over the words. But okay. May the words of Torah, Adonai our God, be sweet in our mouths and in the mouths of all your people, so that we, our children, and all our children's children, the descendants of all the house of Israel, may come to know you and study your Torah. Blessed are you, the giver of Torah. It's a good, solid message, right? So I just had my 15-year ordination anniversary. And thank you. Yes, in May of 2010, I stood on the bima of Sinai Temple, which, fun fact, is the synagogue that is the synagogue of the main character rabbi in Nobody Wants This. You know, so like as in the 2nd episode or whatever, when he's at his shul officiating, I'm like, that's where I was ordained. I stood on that stage. That's what happens when you go to rabbinical school in Los Angeles. In any case, may the words of Torah, Adonai our God, be sweet in our mouths and in the mouths of all your people, so that we, our children, and all our children's children, the house of Israel, may come to know you and study your Torah and love you. Yadata, it's like, the intimacy of knowing. It's knowing, but it's like knowing in a really sweet and intimate way. Blessed are you, the giver of Torah. And, I was thinking about this because the truth is it feels, saying this now, thinking about how me and my colleagues spend our time,
this feels almost quaint to say that our job is about teaching Torah. Our primary job is teaching Torah, not analyzing the news every 24 hours. As truly many of my colleagues, I mean, we talk about like how it feels like we went into this because of our love of Torah and Judaism and leading services, and in my case, like creating a campfire feeling of, harmony and rhythm around, worship. And, not everybody's, like everybody's shul is different because rabbis are different, and the people who love Judaism who went into this business are all different, but all of us now have become news commentators, But the truth is, you can get news anywhere, and you can get people's hot takes anywhere, and you can get analysis of current events anywhere. What you can't get is like a holistic experience of the music and the prayer and the davening and the Torah, and if we're on top of it, what's going on in the world and how we're seeing it through the lens of Torah. That actually, you can't get that anywhere. And I know like both of us feel really privileged and we feel nourished by the ability to kind of put all of those things in the mix every single week. And the truth is, this week, all I really wanted to do was teach Torah, And in the last 24 hours, the news is happening. And I thought, you know what? The news is happening, and I just want to teach Torah. And so I want to learn Torah with all of us tonight. I actually put more of it on a study sheet than I usually do. Very often we'll do a sermon, and tonight I wanted to do a study. And so you'll find it tucked into your Siddur. This is Torah, Parshat Bahalotcha, when you illuminate. But I think we will discover that in studying Torah, we might also be reflecting on the world we live in. All right, so are people ready to study? Do people have what you need? All right, they're going around. Well, the truth is, as papers are going around, I'll just give you a little bit of background. So to set the stage, we're in the 11th chapter of the book of Numbers, which is in Hebrew. Anybody know what the book of Numbers is in Hebrew? You can just, no, not Vayikra, that's Leviticus. Close. Bamidbar, which means in the desert, in the wilderness. Yes, exactly. So I really feel like one way of understanding Torah is that it is an extended meditation on wandering, on uncertainty, on wilderness navigation. So as we get to the book of Numbers, we are like deep into it, into the book of Bamidbar. So the Israelites we are about to encounter in this text, these are the ones who were slaves, who were oppressed in Egypt, who witnessed the plagues, who crossed the Red Sea as it split, who stood at Sinai and received Torah. These are the Jews who built the golden calf and were spared really only by the fact that when God said, I'm so mad at them. I gave the second commandment about not building idols, and then they went and built an idol, and I'm going to kill them all. Moses, I'm going to start again with the people descended from you. And Moses is like, shh, God, you're overreacting. It's okay. We're going to work with these people. They're going to be okay. And so, and that was like a year ago. And so this is the same people for whom that happened. They have received many, many laws. The most recent set of laws, the entire book of Leviticus, has been about what the priests do in the Mishkan, in the temple, all the sacrifices they make, the menorahs they light, the beautiful worship they create. And so, this is where we are. I actually wonder, where's that microphone go? Anybody know? Right here. Is there anybody who enjoys reading in public with a dramatic Bible voice? Anybody? Yes. In English. No, yes, I'm in English. All right. Jonathan, thank you very much. So you have that piece of paper?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So we're reading from Numbers 11. The stage has been set for you, all right?
Go for it.
The people.
The people.
The people took to complaining bitterly before
You could just say God.
heard and was incensed. A fire broke out against them, ravaging the outskirts of the camp. The people cried out to Moses. Moses prayed, and the fire died down. That place was named Taberah because a fire had broken out against them. The riffraff in their midst felt a gluttonous craving.
You're doing great.
And then the Israelites wept and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish that we used to eat free in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Now our gullets are shriveled. There is nothing at all, nothing but this manna to look to." Now the manna was like coriander seed, and in color it was like bdellium. The people would go about and gather it, grind it between millstones or pound it in a mortar, boil it in a pot and make it into cakes. It tasted like rich cream. When the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna would fall upon it. Moses heard the people weeping. Every clan apart at the entrance of each tent was very angry, and Moses was distressed. And Moses said to God, "Why have you dealt ill with your servant? And why have I not enjoyed your favor, that you have laid the burden of all this people upon me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give birth to them? That you should say to me, carry them in your bosom as a caregiver carries a nursing infant to the land that you have promised on oath to their fathers? Where am I supposed to get meat to give to all these people when they whine before me and say, 'Give us meat to eat'? I cannot carry all this people by myself, for it is too much for me. If this is how you would deal with me, kill me instead, I beg you, and let me see no more of my wretchedness."
Amazing. Thank you, Jonathan. Beautiful. All right. Now, what I want you to do, and you probably knew this was coming, is I want you to, in chavruta, with the person next to you, maybe who you came with or maybe somebody you didn't come with, to say hello. And here's the question. You can actually turn over the page because I'm giving you the questions. All right. You can see the Hebrew if you want to read any of what Jonathan just read in the English. There's the Hebrew for you. So, as I said, sometimes when we learn Torah, it actually is a reflection on our life. And I do believe that the extended focus on the wilderness is actually because the world in which we live is not unlike the wilderness. And so a useful acronym for this wilderness is VUCA, a place rife with vulnerability, uncertainty, chaos, and ambiguity. Now, that acronym was developed to describe our world today, not the biblical wilderness, but I think there are obvious parallels. What behaviors and mindsets are these texts mirroring to us that we may be susceptible to when we find ourselves in these kinds of environments? So turn the page back over and notice, what are some specific things you notice these Israelites or Moses doing that actually are rather familiar, if you're being honest about yourself or people you know? All right. Introduce yourself to somebody nearby, say hello, tell them what stood out to you. right, take 1 more minute. 1 more minute. I might ask you to do a little, passing that around. All right. All right. It was a good 5 minutes. Yeah. All right, awesome. Okay, so what did you notice? What probably unhealthy patterns did you uncover here that happened to the Israelites, but of course would never happen to anybody we know if we found ourselves feeling out of control?
Okay, we're coming.
In the wilderness of life. All right, Ben.
I think what we talked about was actually maybe
No,
not.
stay standing. It's great.
Okay. Hi. I think maybe what we talked about was like not so much like unhealthy patterns, but patterns that just feel familiar more so, that are like understandable, but not like helpful. Like one being Moses' sense of like total overwhelm, and this is not like, why is this my job? Why is it my job to carry like these people through all this? And also the sense of like bewilderment at their ungratefulness, that they were slaves a year ago and they're asking for garlic. Like, I led you through an ocean and you're crying about garlic. Like, what is your problem? And that feeling of like just total frustration and overwhelm.
Can I just ask, because as we were reading Moses' words here, people were giggling a little bit. Is this, for whom was this the first time you kind of saw Moses as a real person? Like, and actually kind of funny in his drama. Like, oh my gosh, Moses, you're a drama queen. Like, or a Jewish mother, or a Jewish father, or anybody who just like has had it up to here with you know? And yes, and it's interesting to see because like a year ago, he was Mr. Cool, calm, collected, right? Like he had the bandwidth, he had the inner spaciousness, but it's been a year of vulnerability and uncertainty and chaos and ambiguity, and he's tired. Like, who among us has not gotten to that place where we've yelled or said something that was a little dramatic, but you know what? I'm tired, right? Yeah, thank you. Ben, great. Okay, Jane.
So one of the things I'm wondering about is last week when we were reading, the Israelites are making all these offerings, right? And there is like goats and lamb in there, right? And they're doing all these things. They have all of these resources, right? And then this week they're like, we've forgotten everything we've done and we don't have anything. And all we have is this like ridiculous thing that God sends us, right? And so kind of, we do all of us do this, right? When we exaggerate the current problem to like it's the end of the world and there's nothing that can save me now, right? And that's it. I'm just like done with life and I'm done with everything. So and I feel like in our world outside of this room, like it can feel like that a lot as well, where everything is just so overwhelming. It's not just overwhelming for Moses, it's also overwhelming for the people. And finding that like space where the two can meet and figure out how do we come together out and get ourselves outside the overwhelm? Like that's that sweet spot that's so hard.
Right, and it's hard because like he's the leader, he's the guy who's actually supposed to help move people in that direction, but he's also been in the wilderness, you know, and he maybe is also a little bit sick of the manna and, you know, sick of these people and sick of his job and needs a vacation. And so it's like there needs to be an adult in the room, you know. Moses has been that.
But we're seeing now here, it's like actually he needs somebody to relieve him of the burden for a moment too. It's like he has to pass the torch. Yeah, please.
It reminds me of my dad and me a little bit. When, like my dad would lose his temper with me. Why are you doing this? You don't do this. You don't do that. I can't handle it. You know, it's like, Daddy, you need to take a break too. Like, why don't you go take a moment? And it's the same thing I do with my daughter now. Yes. And I will, rather than sort of taking a break and be like, okay, let's talk about this. How can we help you feel better? Or do you understand that perhaps, you know, you do have a lot? And it's this sort of like, he's overwhelmed and they're overwhelmed. And it's just like everything, you know, builds rather than, because sometimes Moses doesn't always handle everything in the best way. I think he sometimes needs to say like, whew, I'm going to walk over here and just have some quiet time.
Yes.
I'm not criticizing him completely. He's human.
He's human. No, and I love how also we're like all moving into kind of like therapist friend mode, you know, because it's, you know, like the question I asked was like, what are the behaviors we're seeing here? And it's like, you know what Moses needs? He needs a Xanax. Like you know what Moses needs? Like he needs to like take a breath. But actually, for a minute, I still want to focus on what are some of these behaviors that we're seeing. So, okay, what we've noticed catastrophizing, kind of like taking it personally. You know, like everybody's going through something, but it's like, I'm overburdened. This is my, like it's personal in a way that like, of course we all experience things personally, but, you know, making it all about him. So what else are we seeing that we haven't yet said?
I love how you said that Moses needs an adult in the room. Yeah. Because he does. That's the thing. This is like, if you look at it like from a nervous system perspective.
From a what perspective?
Nervous system.
Nervous.
Like, everything's unfamiliar. It doesn't matter that like they're not slaves anymore. There's nothing familiar that's saying to each person like, you're okay. And Moses is a person, and now Moses is turning to God for that. And the people are so worked up, so overwhelmed, they don't have the ability to even look at each other in that way. To be like, okay, oh, you're here. And we're here together. And earlier when you asked everybody, like, what's something here that's real, that's true, you know, that's good? And even if it's not good, just neutral. I'd be happy with neutral, right? But it was really hard. I commented it's really hard for people to come up with something right here, like in this room. Like, is there a color? Is there a texture? Is there something here that feels like really real for you? They didn't have like a pause for that. They didn't have, you know, anyone to guide them towards that.
A somatic therapist, for example, to guide
exactly.
them.
They do not have a somatic experiencing practitioner to say, like, just notice what is, right? Because that's, when we're noticing what isn't, then we're really afraid.
Yes, and actually, thank you for pointing that out. Like, that's one more thing in there, is noticing the lack, noticing the negative, right? Like, there's a word for that, right? Like the negativity bias. We all are, it's like a human thing. We notice what's not here, even in the presence of so much that is here. It's just how we're built, you know?
And no one person, even the greatest rabbi, no one person can regulate for the rest of the world. Right. Like, we all need sources of co-regulation to be with each other in that. And that's not just a thing that we teach kids to be able to do. Like, we all need co-regulation from one another.
All right, maybe one more before we, all right. Tim, and then, Or, wait, no, Stephen, did you have somebody back there? All right. All right.
This better be good.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite parshas. Not my favorite, but one of my favorite, because it reminds me of me. I think what it represents, what the Israelites are doing, is they're romanticizing a really bad situation. They're like, look at this fish we used to have for free, and look at these cucumbers and this garlic, and everything was so wonderful. Like they're leaving out the part about being slaves, but it was comfortable. It was 400 years. I mean, they were comfortable being slaves. So as soon as that familiarity and that change and not knowing what's coming next, like we created what's next in my relationship, what's next in my job, what's next, and when we have to sit that ambiguity of not knowing what's next, we tend to retreat back into what was great. Like we do it with relationships. Like, oh, he never called me, but he was such a great boyfriend. She never showed up, but she was, but, right?
Yes.
And so that's kind of what I see in this parsha, is a lot of romanticizing about the past. And this isn't the only time Moses asked God to kill him either. Spoiler alert: God doesn't kill him, but
Yes.
but it's also, and I think there's a commentary that I really appreciate that talks about craving a craving. Like all their needs were met. They really didn't need anything, so there was really nothing to gripe about. But they had to invent something. Like when you're laying in bed at night and it's the end of a lovely day and everything's so great and your bills are paid and the kids are asleep and you're in bed early, all of a sudden a thought hits you like, there must be something wrong. Like, there has to be something that I need to be worried about. Like, I can't be content just to be content. Like, there has to be what's next, what's coming.
Thank you. Thank you. We could go on, right? I'm sure there are things that you noticed or talked about that we haven't yet brought up here. The complaining. A couple weeks ago, Rabbi Jonah Rank came and gave a drash, and he drew on a study of some professors at Tufts University. One of them is named Eitan Hirsch. I'm not remembering the other one. But they talked about people who are college educated and the number of hours people spend consuming news. And the more educated a person is, the more hours they spend consuming, and the fewer of those hours are spent doing anything politically. It's people who have less formal education or degrees on their wall who are going door to door knocking and canvassing and showing up at protests and being involved in local organizations in the community. And he kind of threw down the gauntlet and invited all of us to stop whining, stop complaining, and maybe do a little something, But you see the Israelites with all that they have, whining and complaining. And who doesn't relate to that? We all do it. But it's just something to notice. Magical thinking. It's another one, right? Like if we could only go backward, and actually luxuriating in the memories of what used to be. And by the way, it's a completely distorted memory. Like they ate garlic and leeks and melons, and maybe they saw them on the buffet tables of the people they were serving, but that was not their life. But in their mind, they're going back to a better time in the past, make the Israelites great again, and it's dangerous thinking. It's dangerous thinking. But, I would be lying if I would like to go back in time. I'd like to get in a time machine back to a time when the two-state solution in Israel might have actually been plausible, or the policy that really might have steered climate change in a different direction than where we are now. There was a time when that was all possible. And we are in a different time now, and we can't rewind the clock. But I sometimes like to live in a place where I imagine that we could. It's a nice place to retreat to, but it's fantasy. So they go there, right? We didn't study this, but of course, Miriam and Aaron down here, Rabbi Stephen mentioned it earlier, where they start to insult and talk behind their brother's back. They start to insult Moses. And I'm thinking, what is the word for when you're allies, you're on the same team, you actually want the same thing overall, but you figure out ways to take each other down and criticize each other, hurting the overall enterprise because, you have small disagreements. What is it, the narcissism of small... I don't even think it's frenemy exactly. It's people who are all on the left end of the spectrum who cannibalize each other and then lose the election, for example. There's a word for that. I don't know what it is. But what is it? No, but we see it all the time. Infighting that ends up leading to the corrosion of the thing that could actually be, that could actually lead us forward with more cohesion and more trust. It's the breakdown of trust in the group, right? And we see that happen, and actually God sends Miriam a little plague to try, basically a little punishment for her role in corroding the leadership of the Israelite people. Moses and Miriam and Aaron, they need each other. They're all coming from slightly different places, and it becomes clear, actually, they're insulting Moses about his wife, but really what they want is more power. They're mad about, he's the main prophet, and they wish they were the main prophet. And, it's something to notice when we start to take down other people who are actually very aligned with us, but we start splitting hairs over things that seem actually quite important, and maybe they are, but at the end of the day, we let that get in the way of marching forward together toward the larger goal that we actually all share if we could just talk to one another without screaming or without dismissing each other as stupid or naive or on the wrong team. And this can be really hard. This can be hard, but it's something to notice that we all do, or we tend to do, and that the Israelites model here, even the leadership of the Israelites model here. And so God ends up being, for once in the Torah, the adult in the room. It's not really once in the Torah. God is free. The character of God in the Torah frequently is steering the right direction. There are a couple places where we're like, okay, God, slow down, take a deep breath. But this is a place where neither the Israelites nor Moses nor Miriam nor Aaron, any of the leaders, have the inner fortitude, the spaciousness to be leaders. And so God says to them, gather me 70 of Israel's elders, whom you have experience with and who are trusted by the people, and bring them to the tent of meeting, and let them take their place with you, Moses. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will draw upon the spirit that's on you and put it on them, and they will share the burden with you, and so you will not have to bear this alone. I think that's so beautiful. In these moments when we feel like retreating, we feel like we're alone, we behave in ways that make other people want to leave us alone, God says, turn to someone near you and make a friend. Let my spirit, let your spirit be held by other people. Share the burden. You cannot do it alone. We can't fight anti-Semitism alone. The Black and Latino and minority communities across our country cannot fight racism and anti-immigrant sentiments alone. We can't save democracy alone. We have to work with people across differences and backgrounds. The Torah describes this asaf suf, this riffraff, that kind of instigates among the Israelites this corrosive negativity. And I think that's just it's like this invitation for us to be aware of the people trying to break our connections, our friendships, our alliances, and to look to one another, to look around, and not allow negative forces really trying to create isolation among us to succeed. Because then we really will have lost it. And we will not get to the promised land. And the truth is, these Israelites, they don't make it. The Torah, in a strange way, is not optimistic on some level. And so we read it two different ways. There's one way to read Torah where it's prescriptive. We read it for the insight it gives us about what to do. Don't murder, don't steal. Here are ways to live. Practice business honestly. Observe the Sabbath and keep it holy. These are prescriptions for a moral, beautiful life. But then there's a way to read the Torah descriptively, where we're not reading it for what to do. We're reading it to see who we are. It's a description. It's just telling us who we are. Rabbi David Wolpe, who once got in so much trouble with his own congregation at Sinai Temple, the aforementioned, because he said something like, there's no proof that the Exodus happened, but it was still true with a small t. And his community got really mad because a lot of those people took, the Exodus is really important and it's important that it happened. And he said, no, it doesn't have to have happened to be true. It has to happen to be true. It happens. What we're reading, this is us. And so our invitation is to not follow the direction the Israelites follow. They can't break out of these cycles. They can't do it. So maybe we can. In every generation, we're invited to read this and learn and do better. So May the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths. May they move us to pray with our words and our feet. May we join hands across so many different races, ethnicities, traditions, even traditions within our own people, to move toward the promised land with faith and love and resilience and self-awareness that our ancestors did not have, and not fall victim to all the traps we've been warned about here. And as Aaron is invited at the very beginning of the Parsha to light the menorah, to light the lamps, that's where the Torah's name, or the Parsha's name comes from, B'ha'alotcha. May we be the lights that we need to light along the way for ourselves and for each other, especially in moments when we know we all might fall victim to these kinds of behaviors and mindsets. May we be the adults in the room for others and know that there will be a time when we will need someone else in this room or in your world to be the adult for you. And may we continue to just move forward with as much awareness as possible in this wilderness that we are all navigating together. So thank you for the learning, everybody. We are going to, give yourselves a hand here. We are going to stand and turn to page 32. And we wrap up our service. Aleinu l'shabeach
L'adon hakol,
leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu
kugei
kugei
haratzot,
velo
sam
samanu
k'mishpachot
ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kecho hamonam,
V'anachnu korim,
u'mishtachavim
u'modim,
lifnei melech
malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Stay standing if you are in a period of mourning, observing a yard site. Let's take a moment to go around the room and bring in the names, the memories of those that were thinking of this Shabbat. Any other names? If you're in a period of mourning observing a yard site, you can join me on page 34 for Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbam.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei. Bechayachon uvyomechon uvchayei zechol beit Israel. Ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbam mevorach le'olam omei almaya. Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'pa'ar v'roman v'naseh. Vit hadar, vit ale, vit halal, shemei, tekudisha, brichu, la'ela, min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Vel kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. Yehi zichronam livracha. May all their memories be for a blessing. What do you do with that big siddur?
V'ha'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratecha b'finu u'b'fi amcha Beit Yisrael v'nihiyeh anachnu v'tze'etzei enu v'tze'etzei amcha Beit Yisrael kulanu yodei Hashemecha v'lomdei Toratecha lishma. I mean, thank you. It was just reading Hebrew, but just to say it's a lot of words with a lot of funny sounds in them.
You know, actually, I just realized,
Yeah.
do you remember one of the first things you did as a rabbi was?
No. Convert you?
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, let's hear it for Rabbi Stephen's anniversary of being a Jew. Yes.
That was also 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah, this month.
So much is possible in 15 years, you guys.
So much. You too could be a rabbi.
Yeah. So true. All right, we are going to, we're going to bless bread, we're going to bless wine, and then we're going to hang out. Thank you so much, Will and Ian and Gracia and V, and thank you to Frank Klein and Isaac Gamoran and Amelia, who are all helping take all of the stuff for the new arrivals to wherever it's going. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who brought something. Loving whoever's phone is serenading us. We are going to stand. If you want the words in front of you, we're on page 30. 20, page 30 for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon kinhilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta im kol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Hashem. Amen. You want to go for it? Okay. Yeah. Amazing. Get it, girl. Get it.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Wait, just the one little guy? Oh, hey now.
So many guys.
It's okay. Great.
Reach your hands towards somebody who's reaching their hands
Make a
towards
little community
the
and
challah.
embody all the
If you don't know
love
them,
that
maybe
went into
introduce
this.
yourself first. And we'll bless the bread together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min ha'aretz. Amen. Amen. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. A totally normal 2-hour Friday night service. What should we sing? Should we sing? Which one? Oh, all right, sure. Great. What?